Welcome to Inside Games Daily, the only gaming news show brave enough to talk about World of Warcraft Classic Plus. I want to say, Brian, this might change Brian's entire life.
Nothing. Kids, nothing will have as big of an impact on my life as Classic Plus. Yes. And we've talked about it for years, fellow Classic enjoyers. But are we about to finally get a Classic Plus version of World of Warcraft? People have been asking about this for years, and now reports say Blizzard has been holding secret meetings with influencers with some kind of announcement possibly on the way.
Brian, you're an influencer. How come they didn't hold a secret meeting with you?
I'm bummed. That and Dragon Quest, I feel like I should be on the inner circle, but I'm not.
You really should. All right, so let's dig into the issue here. But first, we should get into the history of WoW Classic and what this Classic Plus idea is, because to me it sounds like a Netflix subscription that I hate.
Yeah, it's a little different. So to start, we actually have to back up to pre-pandemic, to 2019, and that is when Blizzard released World of Warcraft Classic. That was a version that recreated the vanilla 2006 version of the game.
Yeah, players have been asking for a throwback version of WoW for a very long time. They actually felt like the retail version of the game had become something completely different. They actually missed the older, slower, more RPG-focused version of World of Warcraft.
Yeah, and just one problem, Blizzard did not think players would be really interested in an old version.
Yeah, this is great. In 2013, former Blizzard president J. Allen Brack straight up told players, quote, "You think you do, but you don't," when he was asked about bringing back classic servers.
You don't want to do that either. You think you do, but you don't.
Yeah, that became infamous. And in fairness, he was talking about kind of quality of life issues too. Like, you're going to not like having to go into town and shout, "We need a tank, we need a tank." But he was wrong. People did. When Blizzard finally relented and released WoW Classic in 2019, it was a massive hit.
It was. I remember because I was part of that launch and waiting in queues for like 8 or 9 hours just to get in on the first day. So I could stream it, and it was fun. It really was fun. I hadn't played WoW in years, and I got to play WoW Classic when it came out, and I was like, damn, you know what? This was a fantastic formula they had back then.
It was, and then right after that, the pandemic hit, which was actually great for WoW Classic because everybody was at home and they could do those giant raids. So yeah, it was a big deal.
Yeah, after the success of WoW Classic, Blizzard kept experimenting. The company later added hardcore servers with permadeath, also released Season of Discovery, a seasonal version of the game that introduced a new progression system that let players unlock unusual new abilities through runes.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of hardcore still. Self-founded because I'm super hardcore, but yeah, it's great. And Season of Discovery especially felt like Blizzard was kind of testing how far it could bend the rules of old school WoW. Players could do things that would have been crazy in 2006. There were tanking warlocks and healing mages. You could use the runes to so we were kind of staying in the vein of classic WoW, but doing different things, kind of almost like a trial run. You could think of it for Classic Plus.
Yeah, absolutely. Classic players have really been asking for even more than that. They want Blizzard to make entirely fresh content for WoW Classic, new raids, dungeon zones, class balancing, while still keeping the slower pace and older systems of the original game.
Yeah, and interesting to note, Turtle WoW, which was a private server, did just that. Basically just started making their own stuff for WoW Classic. It was hugely popular, but Blizzard finally shut it down like within the last month. So people are also wondering if that's a sign they might be getting ready for their own version. But yeah, essentially players wanted Blizzard to do what Jagex did with old school RuneScape. Treat Classic as its own separate game with new content and a different direction for modern retail WoW, it's kind of an ARPG at this point.
That's true. That idea has become known among fans as Classic Plus, like we talked about at the beginning of the episode. Blizzard has never officially confirmed it's in development, but that could be changing.
Yeah, it only took us 4 minutes to explain what Classic Plus is. Recently speculation exploded after Blizzard invited a group of well-known WoW Classic streamers and creators to California for a mystery event. And of course, there were NDAs.
According to reports, the creators included streamers like Zaryu, Sodapop, and SFan, who all heavily focus on WoW Classic content. In a recent stream, Zaryu said, quote, "I'm visiting Blizzard next week. Good news for something that I cannot say but I will be there.
Yeah, and in the chat, people started just spamming Classic Plus, and he smiled. So take with that what you want. But yeah, it immediately sent Classic Plus fans into detective mode and yelling Classic Plus over and over.
Meanwhile, there have been other hints. Blizzard wants to expand WoW Classic beyond simply re-releasing old expansions, right, Brian?
Yeah, Chinese players currently have access to a version of Classic that kind of remixes older raids, and Blizzard teased the, quote, long-term future of WoW Classic in a 2025 wrap-up post that included a suspicious amount of plus signs. So I feel like they're kind of playing with us a little bit here.
None of this guarantees Classic Plus is real. It's possible Blizzard is simply preparing another experimental Classic mode or expansion announcement.
Yeah, but when you kind of take everything together, that they invited creators who are tied to WoW Classic instead of creators focused on retail WoW, it definitely suggests that there's a lot of smoke around this, that they're working on something new for Classic players.
Yeah, BlizzCon's actually happening in September as well, so lots of people think Blizzard may finally reveal a new old version of WoW. And Brian, I gotta ask, because you've been playing WoW Classic for a little bit now, what is it? So I know that WoW Classic is great because I played it and it gave me nostalgia for when I played it in 2004 and 5 and all that stuff. But it hooked you and you kept playing. Is there a reason beyond nostalgia for WoW Classic?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it I think is nostalgia for the old days, but like the original WoW is just a really good RPG too, and it is just much slower paced, and a lot of it is about leveling the journey rather than the end game, because there's not a ton of end game in WoW Classic, so it's just kind of a throwback RPG, and I think people who like that style of game, as opposed to just very fast paced with retail and there's a million things to do and you're kind of flooded with just options, and you get just epics almost immediately. I think there's a hunger for that slower pace and just to kind of explore more, like what if we add some dungeons in this style, again very similar to old school RuneScape. Given how well Classic did, I think it just makes sense. I'm surprised honestly that they don't just hire the Turtle WoW developers, like, hey, just do what you were doing but do it for us.
They might be, or we don't actually know that. They may actually be doing that. This whole trend, it's really interesting, of these older games that are live service. These are live service games, by the way, and everybody talks about how they hate live service games and they hate remakes and reboots. They want original IP. This is exactly the opposite of that. It is an IP that everybody knows, and it is a live service game, and people play the shit out of it. And it's just like old school RuneScape. So it's really interesting to me that a lot of players, like, people, I'll see people in our comments and all over the gaming, universe, here on YouTube and on Twitch and stuff, that complain about all those things, and then they play it. So it's so interesting, and I mean, you really can't debate with the fact that old school RuneScape is a great video game. WoW Classic is a great video game, and so it makes sense that we want to keep these things going, and so I'm fine with this sort of thing. But I love to see the push and pull of the commenters being like, I want something original, and also I'm tired of live service, and all they do is give Blizzard their money every month. So I don't know.
I think too it's because WoW was one of the first, so maybe it's grandfathered in. We look at it as, well, it's old school, it's not like, I don't know, some of these newer things that just feel like cash grab. But yeah, it is very much, you pay your $15 a month, you do get Classic and retail, so you get them both. It's kind of a bonus. So but I think there's, and in this age where there's so many games and the audience is so fragmented, there's a sizable chunk that just wants to play WoW Classic. And maybe that wouldn't have mattered 10, 15 years ago, but I think in 2026, if there's enough of a core fan group that loves that, like, why not? Like, just give them more of it.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. There's a huge fan base for this, and it continues to sort of explode across Twitch and YouTube, and I'm watching lots of creators like SFan play. And I mean, it's fun. It's a fun game to play. And I do, again, even though it's a $15 a month thing, I do appreciate at least that. I don't know if they're making you pay for DLCs and other currencies and microtransactions. Are they doing that to you, Brian?
No, there's not in Classic. There's none of that. So it's very kind of simple. It's very streamlined, and I think that's kind of refreshing. I mean, for me, it's very much like there's not a lot of currencies and options. It's just there's not a battle pass. You just kind of do what you play the game, and it's refreshing. It's relaxing. There's different ways to play. Like I like hardcore WoW, which kind of turns it into a roguelike. You're just like, oh, I died, I'll go again. And it's just kind of taking that bot of a very well-made RPGs with great dungeons, good classes, 2 continents, simple, and just kind of, I think people just want more of it. Like, let's just explore and see what that could be kind of based on these rules and not sort of the super fast-paced retail WoW. Not that there's anything wrong with retail WoW, but it is become a very, very different game from Classic.
Yeah, no, that's what I've heard, and so it's good to hear you talk about this stuff because I know you've been playing it for a long time. So exciting for you and exciting for the WoW Classic players too. Thank you very much for watching Inside Games Daily today with me and Brian. Lawrence is yet again taking another 6 day because he'll feel better. He'll be up back to normal soon. And thank you very much if you subscribed to the channel and you're telling your friends about this channel. That really does help us make more episodes along with Mr. Brian Gar there. So thank you for doing that. And we even have a Patreon if you want to support us with your actual hard-earned cash. Throw a couple bucks our way. We'll make more episodes, more content. We have a little Patreon over there as well. So support it. There's free content on the Patreon. We post all of our videos there for free, in addition to a Lawrence meme that I'm sure he'll put up today. So thank you again for watching Inside Games with Brian Gar and me, Bruce Green.